Loading snacks.
What it do? Snackers, snackettes, and snack X's, groomsmen, brides to be. You are now tuned into the Loading Snacks Movie Club discussion for the film that is Corpse Bride. I am Gage. I am joined by Jokes.
Yo, yo.
What's up, Jokes, with the double yo? Why always
Hey,
two yos, Jokes?
I don't know. A yo, just, I don't know. The single yo just doesn't seem like it does it. So the two, I think, does it a little bit better. I don't know. There's no real
No, a
explanation behind
single
it.
yo doth not a hello make. Got it.
No.
Um, Corpse Bride. Let's talk about Corpse Bride. This movie is a Tim Burton classic,
Mm-hmm.
original. Um, this is a beautifully animated film. Would you agree, Jokes?
I would agree with that.
You seem to have a bit of a delay. I'm not sure what's causing
Ooh.
that. There's a bit of a delay between you and I. You're responding a little late. I'm not sure where the breakdown is. It's definitely happening. We're gonna do a quick test. I'm gonna count to three, and after I count to three, Jokes say hello.
Cool.
1, 2, 3.
Hello.
And there you have it. Excellent.
That's weird. Because, like, on my end, it seems pretty much in line. Check, check.
Yes.
I got you.
1, 2, 3. Say hello.
Hello.
Okay. I think our timing is back. Let's try this again. What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's? It's your boy Gage. I am joined by Jokes. You
Yo,
are now
yo.
tuned into the Loading Snacks Movie Club discussion for Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. Um, Corpse Bride, bro. One of the most beautifully animated films I think I've ever seen in terms of what it is. The stop motion. Would you agree?
I agree. I love the stop motion in this. Not obviously this is not like the first introduction to stop motion, but I think this is where I was probably at a point where I think I appreciated it a little bit more.
Yeah. Compared to what, like Chicken Run?
Probably like at when Chicken Run came out, like it didn't sell it for me. Maybe it was just because of what it was. Like I saw it was okay. It didn't do it for me. Maybe I was just
Mm.
out of that realm at the time. I don't know.
Um, this movie came out in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
It bears all of the markings of a Tim Burton film.
Absolutely.
Um, it is very much Nightmare Before Christmas. It is very much Edward Scissorhands. In a lot of ways, it is very much Beetlejuice, Batman. Like it really does live perfectly in the Burton verse, if that's a thing.
I think that's a good way to say it.
Um, yeah, I mean, there's in terms of how this movie looks and feels, it is picture perfect in terms of, I don't know, belonging.
Mm-hmm.
There is something to be said for getting something that is a Tim Burton film and knowing what you're getting going into it. Um, Danny Elfman on the score is exactly that. Dark whimsy
Mm-hmm.
is the way I like to describe what Danny Elfman's music feels like, at least in terms of his film scores. Definitely, at least in terms of the film scores that are Burton.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are moments in the beginning of this, just the kind of very like the opening of this movie, the kind of wide sweeping camera motion through the landscape that is making you aware of how much the environment plays a part in the character and
Mm-hmm.
characterization of the film. It is again classic Burton, and the those sweeping shots along with the sweeping sounds, the soundtrack, the music that Elfman creates along with it, they feel like they just go hand in hand.
Hey.
They are married perfectly, if you will. Um, this is an interesting film. I've never seen the movie.
Oh yeah, never
Have
seen
you
it.
seen it before? No.
I've seen it maybe like one time before,
Okay.
and that was probably like when it got. I own it. Like it came out on DVD at the time. I don't even think we made. No, we hadn't made the trek over to Blu-ray. I don't think just quite yet. So probably regular DVD.
05 is again when the film released. So, Blu-ray had some time
Mm-hmm.
before it was really gonna hit, you know, heavily. So no, it wouldn't have been Blu-ray just yet. Um yeah, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how I missed this movie. Um I know that it's one of my oldest daughters. I would say favorites, but I don't necessarily really mean it as favorites. I don't think if she was listing her top 10 films, this would be in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that she's a fan of Burton and of the work, especially Nightmare. So I feel like this kind of falls in that realm. I'm gonna be very frank before we even get into the synopsis of what this film is.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I won't. I'm gonna get into the synopsis of what the film is. So this movie is about two families that are more or less down on their luck and have made the decision to betroth their children to each other. Um, and so there is to be a marriage between these two families in some way to bring wealth
Mm-hmm.
back to both families. Both families, one is kind of on a come up, the other
Mm-hmm.
one is on a
Down
downswing.
spiral. Yeah.
And by some manner of misunderstanding or lack of actual knowledge of where they stand financially. Both sets of parents seem to believe that this will bring wealth back, though one of the families is high class, high sedity kind of jerks who believe that they are marrying their daughter to a family below their status.
Mm-hmm.
While our main character, Victor, who is, you know, getting married to a woman named Victoria, I roll my eyes. Um, uh, his family, they run like a fish market
Mm-hmm.
or something. Um, and the long and short of it is that these two young people, they never really state their ages,
Age or anything.
um, are supposed to be getting married to one another. They've never met each other. They're both nervous and feel uncomfortable about it. The parents, of course, are in a place where they feel like it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
They force them to do it, and in the opening sequence, um, Victor's family is getting into a carriage and going over to the very large mansion home of Victoria's family. Um, and their family is very much snobbish, if you will, long line of wealth and so forth. And they have apparently lost all their money. And their daughter, in classic form, is like nothing like the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Jokes you say. Um, to kind of shorten this piece of it and get to the crux of it, by some manner of accident, Victor, who is kind of um let's call him clumsy. Does that feel fair, jokes?
I think that's fair to say.
Victor, who is kind of clumsy and struggles to get his vows, ends up wandering off into the woods to practice his vows and accidentally says his vows perfectly to what he thinks is a tree branch, but
Nope.
apparently is the hand of a corpse, and ends up getting married to a corpse that then pops out of the dirt. And we're off to the races. Um, all right, so look, this movie is based on an old folk tale um, that Tim Burton decided to take and turn into a
Put in
film.
his image.
Yeah. So I don't know the details of the folk tale and exactly how it works and what have you. Um, what I'll say is that I think this movie does a horrible job of bringing it all together and making it make sense. I'm I am not I'm not a fan of this joint.
Oh,
I think the
word.
animation is wonderful. No, bro. I think the music is trash. There are like score score aside, as a
Mm-hmm.
musical, I don't like any of the songs in this. None of the songs in this movie are like, oh, hey, I like this. There are moments where it starts to get this that way, but every single song in this movie has like broken cadences of rhyme. Like there's rhyme in it, and then they put
And
something
then it
else
just
in it.
runs.
Maybe they
I'll
get
agree with
back
that.
to it somewhere later. There's a lot of like weird kind of talking in it that I feel like really throws off the pacing, not only
Mm-hmm.
of the music and of the song, but thereby of the story itself. And while a part of me cares very much for the instrumental talent that is there, and it's not necessarily that the vocal talent is in there. Nobody's like, trying to sing the roof off the building or anything like that. That's not
Mm.
really what this is about. But um man, I don't know. As a person who loves music and as a person who enjoys musicals, this rate's really, really low
In
for me
comparison.
in of what it does and how it carries things apart. And like the kind of like 18th century play, around with it, the vibe is there. It just doesn't quite work for me. And um I think it throws everything else off, on top of, I think, the coherence of the story is not great. And I had to remind myself multiple times, well, it's 2005. It's really a movie for kids to go see, I think.
I don't know. I feel like it teeters on being that type of, almost, it could have been marketed for kids, but with the tones of death, living and death in here, I think it skates really maybe not being in the kids round. Now, obviously, teen, I feel like maybe is where it would lie a little bit more. But with, the stop motion and the character design, when you look at them, it feels more like it is in kids' tones. Like you brought up earlier, thinking of Chicken Run or something like that. It's in that realm, but then obviously it's Tim Burton, uh, with Danny Elfman on the music. Like I'm kind of the opposite of where you are. Like I enjoyed it. I do think the story necessarily, yeah, there's some holes in the story. I get for trying to keep it at a, I guess you could say, a shorter running type of film. I don't think they did a, or I think they did a better job at not necessarily putting so many multiple storylines within this. I feel like there was maybe like the piece of just obviously marrying the corpse, the families, coming together, and then obviously I won't go too far as we get to it. The person that ends up getting married towards the end. So I feel like they kind of all were a part of the same story, but it wasn't necessarily we're trying to tell this thing to expand this world that we're in to eventually maybe say create another movie or something like that. So I do think there's holes, but I do think it's
Hopes
enjoyable.
or holes? Holes?
Holes.
Dig them up. Oh, got it. Um, yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, I feel like without the Nightmare Before Christmas, this movie is nothing.
I
I
can,
really,
yeah, I can agree with that.
I feel like, um, if not that Tim Burton doesn't deserve a lot of credit, I think that people saw the trailer for this, heard about it, saw the release, and the we have to watch Nightmare Before Christmas at Halloween and Christmas every year since the early 90s. This movie is 12 or 13 years
Hmm.
removed from when Nightmare Before Christmas came out. And it feels to me. And I do know that this film, these characters kind of existed within like Tim Burton's wheelhouse. Like this is the kind of stuff that he was doing as like a student in art school / film school.
Hmm.
However, it feels to me like the love that exists for the Nightmare Before Christmas managed to like sprinkle its way onto this, and I don't feel like this movie is anywhere near as good
Mm-hmm.
as A Nightmare Before Christmas. I feel like Corpse Bride gets a pass by virtue of the look and the name Tim Burton,
Mm-hmm.
and it does evoke the feeling as all Tim Burton movies do, but I'm not really in a this this movie doesn't hold a candle to Nightmare Before Christmas. It's not even close. It's not even close. And here's the thing: even if this movie stood in a place where it was better than, I don't know, several other movies, and we could look at,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, we could pull up a list of like what other movies came out in 2005, and maybe even just go to kids movies. In the grand scheme of things, this is a cult classic by the nature of it being Burton and stop motion,
Mm-hmm.
like alone. Like I don't the endearing qualities that exist for this movie for me have nothing to do with this movie and have everything to do with the aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
and the name, the two names, Burton and Elfman, the two men's, Burton and Elfman. That's it. This movie doesn't like it doesn't move the needle at all. Like I feel, you know what's crazy is that it reminds me so much of Beetlejuice, not the movie, but the
The
cartoon.
animated, yeah.
I love the animated Beetlejuice cartoon. Saturday morning cartoons, Beetlejuice was hilarious. That truly kind of living in that dead world. There are moments of this when they are in the quote unquote underworld, which again, a theme throughout
Mm-hmm.
Beetlejuice, going into the dead realm. It exists here. You know, that is very Burton-esque. The kind of singing and whimsy that is the dead and the death of the skeletons and the zombies that exist in the space, and all that kind of stuff. It reminded me a lot of that. Even the music
Mm-hmm.
in some cases did that. The pieces of it that are kind of funny in the moments of levity that exist in there very much pull from that space and actually tickle a little bit of a nostalgia feather for me in terms of that, like late 80s, early 90s Beetlejuice animated, you know, um, and made me actually think to myself, man, what if they had just done like a sequel or a prequel to Beetlejuice,
Mm-hmm.
but it was all stop motion? And they, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they could have done something there. As a whole, though, the story, I like that the story does come full circle, right? To an extent. So we have this bride who, Victor, again, by mistake, puts the ring on a branch. The branch is a bone. The bone kind of comes back to life. She pops out of the grave and is like, I do. And my man's like, what? And then
What?
he just takes off running. And then when he takes off running, again, these are the kinds of things that, like, as a kid, if you're a kid, it's PG and you're going and you're watching something like this,
Mm-hmm.
you can let it go. As an adult watching this with a kid, had I taken my child to the movie to sit and watch this, I probably would have enjoyed it in a different light. Sitting down to watch it, to some extent, for the sake of being able to pick it apart to have this discussion, he's running through the woods from this bride, right, Jokes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know where he thinks he's going, but he gets to the bridge. He's almost back to town, and she shows up, and then she like goes in to, like, I guess kiss him, and then the screen just just kind of fades to black. And when he wakes up, my man's in the underworld. And we don't know how he got there. I don't know what you're talking about. He's just there. He didn't die. He isn't dead. We don't know why he's allowed to be there. There's no explanation for why it's okay for him to be there. I guess it's because he put a ring on it. So he's allowed in. Because they make it seem like they can't go up and people from up can't come down.
Can't come down.
They make it seem like that's a thing that can't be done. But yet she did it a second ago. That's how he married her. And then he did it just like, and I don't know. I don't know, bro. So they lost me almost immediately.
They're on there.
I don't know, jokes. My favorite part of this movie is him sitting down at the piano in the very beginning of the movie and playing the piano. And then Victoria hearing it, coming out of the room, coming down the steps and being like, I'm not allowed to play the piano. Whatever. And them kind of having a genuine moment. And again, for real, for them, I don't know. It's also very like the whole movie has this like, I can't be married. I'm in love with another woman. Hey, dog, you met this girl 15 hours
5
ago.
minutes ago.
It ain't even been a whole day. What are you talking
You don't even
about?
know her name. You don't even know her.
For real. Like, it's, and she's like, she don't really want to do it. He don't really want to do it. They meet at the piano. They're together for maybe 3 hours for practice. And all of a sudden it's like, we got to make this work. Why? What, like, like why? You know what I mean? Yeah. It doesn't, she's all like, we have to help him. We need to save him. I saw there's a corpse. All right, listen.
There's something wrong with you. She out her mind.
Start tripping for other reasons, bro. Like, hey, it was a whole zombie in my room. Like 10 minutes ago. For real. We need to save him because demons and devils and zombies and such. And this dude went off and got married on you, and you like upset, like your feelings are hurt. Oh no, he gonna get married. You don't know him. You didn't want to marry him. The only thing you know about Slim is he can play the piano. That's all you know. And you are willing to go to hell to get Slim. No, dog. No. Jokes? No. I have issues with this.
I knew you were. And like, where, like, he ends up down in hell, we're going to say. Like, it could have been cool.
Let's call it
Underworld. Whatever.
I was being dramatic, but technically,
I know you were. It's hell because they went down. So technically, it should be hell.
It's the underworld.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, just some of those small things, like how they got down. Like clearly, there's rules in place, and like there's ways to break. I can't even say break said rules, but there's ways that you can get around it to say make the journey back to the world of the living, and so you can be amongst the living people to do stuff. I don't know. I don't know why that type of stuff is in place. Clearly, I can understand why you have the boundaries on why the dead should not come back to the world of the living. Like, I feel like that's just a natural balance, probably, that's there for it. But those little pieces, like, definitely.
I don't know, dog. They make it seem like like there's a whole thing about they can't go back, so they got to go to the elder skeleton, fat skeleton
Mm-hmm.
dude with the old jingly beard who pulls out his mystical books, and you go back to the land of the living if I do this spell on y'all, and then you can go back. And then, like at the end of the joint, they just like, hey dog, hey, we get married. So everybody, let's just go. And everybody in
Yeah,
the
everybody
underworld just
went.
goes back. They just go back. Says who, bruh? How? Why? Is it because they sang the right song? It makes no sense, dog. It is like there are moments that like every time there's a moment where I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Then they do something that's kind of sweet, like I don't know, him getting his dog.
Mm-hmm.
Why does she have his dog's bones in a box?
Hey, listen, it was a gift. Like listen, I want to know how.
No, bro,
In
as
the
if she already knew him
That's what I
or
was gonna say. Like
knew that
that's
it
my only
was
thing.
his
How did
dog.
you know? Like it was cool, but then at the same time, it's just like how, like that was yeah, that was a little. That's something you have to be
Hey,
prepped
hey,
for.
bro, this joint's making me mad. Like the more I talk about it, it's making me mad. This 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 movie's not good. It's not good, bro. It's again, it might be comfort for some people because it's nostalgic, because it's old, because they remember it from when they were little. There are movies that I like that I know are not good. You know what I'm saying? This movie's not good. I would never watch this joint again if I didn't have to. And I don't mean that like I don't mean it. Here's the thing: it's not a bad movie. It's just not good. Yeah, like for all the time and effort they put in to the beauty of the animation and the music and like all of that kind of stuff, the story doesn't hold up for me. The main pieces of the story, right? You have these two people who are betrothed to each other. He ends up accidentally marrying a corpse. Okay. If you're gonna do that, then everything else is kind of out the window anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And turns out the corpse is a jilted bride. Like she was supposed to get married. She goes to meet the person she's supposed to marry, and clearly he killed her so he could steal her jewels and money, right? And I don't know how long she's been dead. They make it sound like when they tell that story, they make it sound like it happened a very long time ago. Like they make it
Mm-hmm.
sound like it might have been hundreds of years ago. So then when they introduce who I'm gonna call this movie's Lord Farquaad, when they introduce this dude, when he just kind of shows up at the wedding, must be from your family, not
Lord Botkiss.
from my family, must be from your family, not from my family. And he's just a random dude. Nobody has any real questions of who are you or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden and again, clearly he must have had, this is the thing I don't understand. Was he going to try to kill Victor? What was his plan? He clearly
To
wasn't
get
planning to trick Victor into marrying someone else so that he could marry her, so that he could take the fortune. So was his plan to kill Victor so that he could
he could try to
marry
take in.
Victoria and take her? Like, what was his plan? Why is he even there? So it's like he's there just by happenstance because they need somebody to be there to be the bad guy. And oh, by the way, wouldn't it be a great shocking twist if it turns out he's the one that killed the bride originally
Mm-hmm.
and now he's getting his comeuppance? Sure, it would, but let's make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Everybody, quote unquote, in town seems to know that these two people are getting together because the
Mm-hmm.
town crier is whatever. But he also seems like he knows the business of the town or like he's from the town, but he can't possibly be from the town because nobody knows who he is. But my man brings the town crier in to cry loudly in their living room that they saw him with another woman
Another woman.
on the fridge. Jokes, this choice, it's a trash story.
It feels like obviously that either this was supposed to be a part of a bigger world and like the elements of like
They
the
had
dude
to
that
cut
just
stuff
shows
from.
Yeah, like the dude that shows up at the house to try to seem like he wants to take over, and really it seems like he has a story, like you say, he's known, but we don't get that backstory to really know what his role is, I guess, within the town. I don't know which way you want to say it.
But
So
he's
it
not
feels.
known because he shows up at their house and neither one of them knows who he is.
Mm,
Right? They just call him Lord Farkas. Again, he's Lord Farquaad. Lord Farkas shows up and just like pulls up a chair and sits down like he's supposed to be there. And who, again, where did he come from and what was his plan? Because clearly his plan was, I'm going to marry her so that I can get the money that exists for them, which we know they're broke.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that. But what was his plan?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So part of me feels like when I looked at the runtime for this movie, it's only like an hour and 17 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this joint's kind of short. I was expecting at least an hour and a half. But again, kids movie, 2005, maybe it makes more sense for it to be a little bit shorter. And as I'm looking at it, I'm beginning to feel like there were elements of this story that were cut, probably for a couple reasons. Mm-hmm. Either for length or in order to maintain a PG rating. That some elements of the story had to be removed that might have brought it together and helped it to make more sense. And they stitched it back together as best they could because they were probably trying to avoid getting stuck with a PG-13 rating.
At that
this movie is PG. And, you know, as a PG movie, again, when you consider like what the themes are and kind of what's going on in this movie, I could see that being a bit of a push / a stretch for this to be PG. It's still the kind of film that's recommended for younger adult audiences and adults as opposed to being PG for kids. And again, if you think 2005 kids movies, as a matter of fact, let me just look it up.
I'll pull that up.
Top rated. Yeah, because 2005. When I think about what was going on with Disney and that kind of thing in 2005, Madagascar, Wallace and Gromit, Pooh's Heffalump movie, bro, The Land Before Time 11. Get out of here. That doesn't count. Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Nanny McPhee, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Madagascar.
The Thora, The Pacifier, and Herbie Fully Loaded. Any of those movies, when you think of those movies and what they look like, what they feel like, there's not corpses and death.
Yeah, nothing.
Skeleton and that kind of stuff. I think it's very different. And I would say clearly out of all of those things, obviously, Chronicles of Narnia is going to be at the top of that list. And if you are vying for the money at the theaters, at a peak time for theaters, when, you know, you have a movie like this that, again, for the most part, you're really maybe riding a bit on. What year did Coraline come out? Let's see. Because that's the only other thing that's like this, for real, that I can think of anyway. At least off the top of my head. Wasn't until 2009. So I don't know. Maybe if not for this, Coraline doesn't get made. And this movie has a lot of holes in the plot. There's a lot of things that I just feel like, even for kids, I think for kids it's fine. Again, like when you just look at the core premises of it. She ends up getting married to the guy that she doesn't want to be married to. Her parents are forcing her to do it anyway. He's away, stuck in the land of the dead. It's too late. He's too late to get back to her and be with her. Again, mind you, these are the things that upset me about a film like this. Like I just, It's always suspension of disbelief for me. It's always continue to play within your own rules. You need a magic spell from a special book in order to get where you're going. You need to say like hopscotch or something in order to get back
Yeah.
to the dead. But then when he's like, you know what, guys, I am gonna marry her. We played the piano together, so I'm stuck here anyway. I might as well get married. She's kind of cute for a dead chick. Let's do this. And they announce it and they sing a song about it. And they're like, we're going upstairs. And they're like, I didn't know we had an upstairs. And then all of a sudden, literally everybody from the underworld
Buddy.
just gets to go back. And like children are being reunited with their grandfathers. Widows are, being reunited with their dead husbands. They've been dead for 15 years, whatever it is. And everybody can just come back. And it's, if we can do that, why didn't we just do that in the first place?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. But again, if you're a kid, if you're 6, 7, 8 years old watching this at the time, what matters to you is cool. They're going to find happiness. They're going to get married. They go back. She got stuck marrying Lord Farfignugan. And, and, in the end, they find out, oh no, he's the dude that he's upset because they do a very Beetlejuice, all of the family sitting at the very long table, and here come the ghosts into the room.
Yeah.
And everybody starts running. He's hiding under the table. She's like, there is no money. He's like, you about to make me rich. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, no, you about to make me rich. You know what I mean? And he's like, what? They should have just killed her right there. Whatever.
That'd been in the story.
Yeah. And then they go to the church. And when they get to the church, she walks in. They're doing the vows. My man's ready to give it all up. He is ready to sacrifice
drink
his
the
life.
poison.
Which, again, here's the thing. From an adult standpoint, it's not even that big of a deal. Because you already can visit the land of the dead. Technically, the only reason why you're doing it is because you can't actually be married, which means that the whole thing is pointless anyway. Because we found a thing in the book that says that it's till death do you part, and you're already dead, so you can't really be married to somebody who's alive. So in order for you to be married to somebody, they gotta die first, so that then you can be married, which means he has to drink the elixir of death. He gotta have some poison and die so that he could turn blue and be with you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
yep.
I'll do it. By Jove, I'll do it. Might as well. I ain't got nothing else to go home for.
You ain't got nothing else to go back to, so.
He was already broke. You don't really know this girl. You know what I mean? Like, you're not, but all right. I made a promise. I made a promise to her. I made a promise to you. Got to keep my promises to both of y'all in some way. Let's get married. And she sees her and is like, nope, I can't do it. I won't do to her what happened to me. So, no, don't drink it. Stay alive. Farfignugan shows up and is like, well, guess what? She's still married to me, whatever. And then they have a fight. And I ain't going to hold you. Victor was holding it down with the fork, bro.
He was getting it with the fork.
It's really stupid. There was everybody in that room hated that dude. And there were people who were there who were already dead. And they really could have just got involved and just punished Slim off the break. And nobody did. And that was crazy to me. But okay. And I guess everybody was happy to see the two of them be together anyway, but they didn't get married. They didn't get married, dog.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the joint, Victoria's no longer married because he drank the poison and he died. So till death do them part.
Till you apart, they're done.
Take him to the underworld. I guess they're gonna punish him when they get there. and the corpse bride never really was married to begin with.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The only marriage that actually happens in the movie is Victoria and Lord Farquaad. and then it gets undone. Mind you, all within the span of like 45 minutes. Like,
yeah, it wasn't that. It wasn't.
they was married not even a whole 24 hours, dog. And then he's dead and she's free. And now they can get married, but they don't. They didn't. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they should have at least been like, let's have a wedding and
Right.
just done it. But they didn't do it. And so it, even though it's beautiful how she turns into, I almost say she turns into butterflies. I think she really turns into moths.
Yeah.
But anyway,
oh.
Emily, the corpse bride, it's a beautiful and supremely well animated, especially for being what is stop motion moment of her just kind of floating up to the moon and turning into moth bits, butterfly bits. And that's it. Dog, at least let them get married. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my man didn't keep his dog. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
Hey,
like,
does this mean like was...
I don't know, bro. I'm not. I don't. Jokes. I don't like this movie. I know you liked it.
I liked it.
A lot of people are going to be upset with me, Jokes. None of them will be able to prove me wrong. None of this makes sense. It's a sweet story, though, in some very weird, twisted way. But it could have been done better. And I also feel like it should have been done better. And I feel in my heart they should have bit the bullet and say, you know what, we're going PG-13.
PG-13.
Let's keep everything in here that really needs to be in here. I don't know. Let's make it work. And they didn't make it work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It works for a lot of people, I'm sure. Until I start poking holes in the boat. And the boat starts to sink. And it messes me up because I think I thought going in that I was going to like, I don't know. I guess part of me wanted him to end up with the corpse bride.
I did have that feel like, even like I feel like they had a little bit more of a connection because they knew each other for 15 minutes versus knowing another girl for 5 minutes.
He did know her. He spent more time with the corpse and got to know her better than he did the woman that he was jumping. Like, dog, he could go. Maybe I'm just an old jilted lover myself, bro. But like, he could have done all that and coming about the underworld and decided to marry this Victoria, and she might be trash, bro. She could be the worst woman he's ever met. She could end up being like her nasty mother, or you know what I'm saying? Like it could be the worst decision he ever made. He don't know her, and like I kind of felt bad for her. But not necessarily because she didn't get him. I felt bad for her because she ended up with Lord Farquaad, but he died. So she got her happy ending. Like, she didn't have to be stuck with him. She was going to be poor still, but whatever. She was poor and already happy. She still had a big house. I assume the house is paid for because nobody was like knocking on their door telling them you're about to get evicted or nothing like that. I don't know, bro. So I feel like it would have been a happier ending if he ended up with the person he accidentally married in the first place.
Yeah.
I also feel like her vindication of him ending up in the underworld or kind of getting what he deserved after murdering her and tricking her to like steal her money or whatever doesn't really beat the justification. And I'm not positive on whether or not her soul is just like she was stuck in the underworld because of what happened to her and the way she died or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like why she's a zombie where other people are full skeletons or something like that.
Right.
But when she turns into moths, it at the end of it or whatever, or butterflies, it kind of gives the impression that her soul is free now and she can go to heaven.
Yeah.
So she's not going back to the underworld where he is. So does that mean that's better for her? And is that a better justification or whatever for her versus being able to live forever with a person who she did like? Again, she didn't know him. She just married him. And they did spend some time together. Again, at least they both played piano and know they like the same music or something. They had at least something in common. Although Victoria liked piano and loved that he could play it, but wasn't allowed to play it. And it would be really sweet for him to be able to sit down and teach her to play because her parents wouldn't. I don't know, bro. There's a lot on the table here. A lot of unanswered things. I'm very unhappy with the turn of events. I don't like this. I give this movie a 6.
Okay. I'm for you. I'm actually at a 7. So I'm not too far. Like, I enjoyed it. I do think there were spots that could have been filled a little bit better in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not too far off.
Okay. Corpse Bride. Loading Snacks movie of the month for the month of October. Seemingly fitting for October. A 6 and a 7. You'll be fine if you never see this. If you saw it and you liked it, I'll just watch it again. Cool. You know what I mean? Like if you enjoy it. I hope I didn't ruin it for you, but I guarantee you the fan fiction around this movie is better than the movie. Yeah, I mean, yeah, go watch Nightmare Before Christmas instead. Definitely. All right. That's been your Loaded Snacks movie of the month for October. Thank you for hanging out with us. Can't wait to hear what y'all have to say about what I have to say about this movie. Feel free to let me have it. We're out. Toodles and Loots.
Loading Snacks